Running an independent academic journal is a total labor of love. You pour your heart and soul into it. But what happens when that passion doesn't pay the server bills? Well, in this explainer, we're going to get into how you can build a solid financial model for your journal without, and this is key, without sacrificing its integrity.
So let's just get right to it. I want you to take a second and really think about this. Is your journal, as it stands right now, truly built to last? I'm talking 5, 10, even 20 years down the line. It's a tough question, for sure, but it's one we have to ask. Look, we all know that passion is the engine that gets these projects off the ground. It's absolutely essential. But that engine needs fuel to keep running, right? And that fuel, well, it costs money. So that's what we're here to figure out. How to keep your passion projects sustainable for the long haul.
All right, first up, the sustainability challenge. And believe me, it really is a challenge. It's time to get real about the nitty-gritty costs that can quietly sink even the most amazing passion-fueled projects. Okay, so you might not think about these things every day, but they add up fast. You've got your server hosting fees. That's a bill that shows up every single month, like clockwork. Then there are DOI registration fees, that little unique code for every article that makes it findable and citable. Yep, those cost money, each and every one. And that's not even getting into the sheer amount of editorial work or the crucial long-term archiving. It's a lot.
So that's the problem. A little daunting, right? But don't worry, because now we get to the good part, the solutions. Think of this next section as your own personal monetization toolkit, filled with proven strategies to secure your journal's future. First tool in the box? Article processing charges, or what pretty much everyone calls APCs. You probably heard of these. They're the go-to model for open access publishing. The idea is really simple. Once an article makes it through peer review and gets accepted, bam, the author, or more likely their university, pays a fee. And that fee is what keeps the lights on and makes the research free for everyone to read. But, and this is a big but, using APCs comes with some really important rules of the road. You have to be super careful and ethical about it. The number one thing is transparency. You've got to be crystal clear about your fees, and those fees should actually reflect your real costs, not just some number you picked out of thin air. Oh, and this is huge. You need to offer waivers for researchers who genuinely can't pay. That's how you build a community that truly trusts you. All right, what if you don't want to charge authors directly? Well, let's talk about sponsorships. This is where you partner up with a university, a research institution, or maybe an academic society, and they provide the financial backing. It really can be a win-win. You get stable funding, and they get to show their support for crucial research in your field. Now, here is the absolute most important rule of sponsorships, and there is zero wiggle room on this. You need a firewall. A big one, between the money and your editorial decisions. You can totally give sponsors a shout out, put their logo on your website, that's all good. But they get zero say in what you publish. Zero. Your editorial independence is everything. It's completely non-negotiable. Okay, let's look at another kind of more flexible model, value-added services. The idea here is that the core act of publishing is free for the author. But you can offer some extra optional services that they can pay for if they want. Things like professional language editing, super detailed plagiarism reports, or maybe even help with formatting. The key is that these services have to be genuinely useful and priced fairly. And just like with sponsorships, there's a huge ethical line you can't cross. These services have to be 100% optional. An author choosing to pay for editing, for example, cannot, I repeat, cannot have any influence whatsoever on whether their paper gets accepted. Think of it as an extra helping hand, not a secret password to get published. So, APCs or sponsorships, which one's right for you? Well, let's break it down side by side. You can see right away that with APCs, the money comes from the author, but it's less predictable since it's article by article. Sponsorships, on the other hand, usually mean a larger lump sum payment from an institution, which is way more stable for budgeting. And here's a little pro tip, especially if you're a small team. Look at that admin effort row. Chasing down a ton of small APC payments can be a huge administrative headache compared to managing just 1 or 2 large grants from sponsors. Okay, we've talked about the models, the how-to, but now we need to talk about what is, without a doubt, the most important piece of this entire puzzle: ethics. Because no matter what you do to bring in money, it has to be built on a rock-solid ethical foundation. I love this quote because it just says it all.
Monetization must align with ethical publishing standards. This is non-negotiable. And that's exactly right. There is no gray area here. Your journal's entire reputation, its credibility, it's all on the line. So what does that look like in practice? Well, it really boils down to these 3 pillars. Number 1, protect your peer review process at all costs. An author's ability to pay can never, ever influence that. 2, ensure total editorial independence. Keep that firewall we talked about between the money and the decisions. And 3, make sure you're following the rules of the big academic indexes. Think of these as your non-negotiable guardrails. Okay, we've gone through the theory, the ethics, all the big ideas. Now let's get down to business. How do you actually put the stuff into action? Let's walk through your implementation game plan step by step. You can get started with just 3 simple steps. Seriously, that's it. First, pick a model, or maybe a mix of 2 that really fits your journal and your community. Don't overthink it at the start. Second, and this is so important, write down all your policies and post them right there on your website where everyone can see them. Be transparent. And third, don't just set it and forget it. Every year or so, take a look at how things are going. Check your finances, listen to feedback, and don't be afraid to tweak your approach. So, as we start to wrap this up, the big theme here is really about finding the right balance. This isn't just about chasing revenue. It's about creating a system that allows you to keep doing the amazing work you're already doing, day in and day out. If there's one single thing I want you to walk away with today, it is this. The goal isn't just revenue. The goal is sustainable impact. The money is just the tool that makes the real goal possible, which is to build a journal that lasts and makes a real, meaningful difference in your field. So at the end of the day, the real question isn't if you should monetize, it's how. How are you going to find that perfect balance for your journal's future? The one that ensures you're not just surviving, but actually thriving, all while holding on to the integrity that got you started in the first place.